Guys, let's talk about why Trey Trades really quit making AMC videos or YouTube videos in general from my perspective. And I think that can be powerful if you can understand someone's perspective, even if you don't necessarily agree with them. It can make it make sense a lot more. And that's what I hope to do here in this video. Also talk about, where I plan to take this channel, because Trey's got a lot of good points and I've been meaning to make this video for a while now, but this seemed like a good time to do that. Now, let's talk about it. So Trey made a video about 2 weeks ago saying this is his last AMC update video. For context there, if you guys have not watched the video, definitely go watch it. It's like a 25-minute video, something like that. Definitely go watch it if you haven't already. And he's got a lot of good points, a lot of things that I can personally relate to as a fellow quote-unquote content creator. And I think especially with his situation, he has a big conscience, right? And he cannot sit there and tell you when to buy, when to sell, when to buy a put, when to buy a call. Can't do that. So you obviously get a lot of backlash if you're talking about a stock like AMC, because some people have put their whole entire life savings into AMC or into whatever stock it is. And when you say something that's not quite what people want to hear, yeah, you get a lot of backlash for that, for one. But I think a big part of it, at least from Trey's perspective, and if you've watched him for a while, you've seen the progression of his videos go from only AMC in a video to talking about different things, right? Talking about bonds or currencies or the broad markets. And that's because you shouldn't be a one-trick pony. And when you are a one-trick pony, when you hit one big trade, that's or you're trying to hit one big trade, that's all you care about. And that can really blind you from enhancing your perspectives, growing your knowledge in financial markets to actually build a long-term future. And that's why me specifically, I've always made it a point to talk about AMC, to bring you guys breaking news, to talk about short interest and live updates and all of these things that we always talk about damn near in every single video, but also to talk about the bond market, talk about hedge funds, talk about what's going on in the stock market, upcoming events that can move the stock market in a big way, not only because it's going to move AMC, but that it's going to move the stock market, that you shouldn't have all of your eggs in one basket, at least from my personal perspective. And what Trey Trades was really trying to say, in my personal opinion, is that retail investors, they need to gain the knowledge really before you gain the money, right? That's the best way to look at what he's trying to do. He wants people to get the knowledge. You have to get the knowledge. You have to understand the stock market, how these things work, to spot opportunities for the rest of your life. There's a lot of famous quotes and sayings around this, right? You have to teach someone how to do things for themselves in order to essentially make it long term or have a longevity involved in it. It's much the same way as, if you were only in AMC, and if that goes bust or if that hits big, well, if you don't have the knowledge, even if you hit the trade on AMC, made millions of dollars, you're going to gamble it away in the next trade. And ultimately, probably 90% of people that did hit AMC are going to end up in an equal, if not worse, situation than before that trade. And I think that's something that's very big that a lot of people don't realize, especially if you started investing in 2020 or 2021. you didn't necessarily learn, or a lot of people don't actively try to understand the markets and try to learn, how to value a company, how to, try to understand the psychology of the markets, and how things move, and how different sectors of the stock market will interact with different things the Fed says, or, what's good and what's bad, more or less. And that's what you need to be a long-term investor, for one, and to gain the knowledge to actually get the money and to actually keep the money. It's one thing to YOLO your money into an option trade to make a lot of money. It's another thing to actually keep that money and build from there. You have to have a solid foundation in order to build a house or to build a skyscraper. You can't keep building forever if you don't have a solid foundation. And I do think it's probably 50-50. Some people, they do. Some people, they don't. But it's unsustainable here on YouTube as a content creator. If that's all you do for a living, it's unstable to, only teach people about one stock, one trade, what the shorts are doing around this one trade forever. Because, eventually it's either going to play out or it's not going to play out. One, you're going to have a lot of people that are mad at you. One, people that are on the other hand, you're going to have a lot of people that are happy with you. But nonetheless, I think from Trey's perspective, and also my perspective, why I dislike a lot of people in the AMC community is, or content creators, I should say, I love all of you guys, is that a lot of people, they don't help you guys build solid foundations. The channels that I watched when I first started investing 5 years ago, well before the COVID crash, was channels about long-term investing, about trading, but trading sustainably. And I think that personally is something that weighs on Trey. That's why, like I said, I've never been a guy that is solely focused on only AMC. I'm more focused on, I would say, the macro, what's going on in the economy. Are we going into a recession? What are the signs that, inflation's going to be high or low? What that could do to the markets, because a lot of the markets are about psychology, what the markets are pricing in. And I think that's a good example of it. A lot of people, when they hear the markets pricing in something, they just don't understand it. And certain things like that are a part of your foundation that you need to have to be successful in the stock market. If you're a YOLO trader, if you're a long-term investor, a dividend investor, a growth investor, if you're in it for fixed income, whatever it is, you have to have a solid foundation. And that's why people hire financial advisors. And if you're not somebody that has a financial advisor, that's usually why you seek other free information, like coming to YouTube and watching YouTube videos. And especially when you're Trey and you have an audience that large, I 100% agree. You're doing people a big disservice to not teach them the actual rights and wrongs of the stock market. Like I said, the psychology. I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but if you're only talking about AMC and a select group of people, call it, the apes, are not building foundations, then that is a very unsustainable path of investing for people. And I think that really is the big reason why he's not going to make AMC videos anymore. Me personally, I'm going to talk about AMC like I always have. But I also talk about the macro. I also try to help you guys build a solid foundation. I like to talk about the dollar. How the dollar strengthens and weakens is massive. For an example, if you guys have watched this channel for a while, you've definitely heard me talk about simply the dollar, how, look at like a chart like UUP, the dollar strengthening is because global currencies are weakening. What does that mean? If global currencies are weakening, that means growth is scarce. That means investors are scared of emerging markets. They're putting their money into the dollar. But what does that do? When the dollar strengthens, it means a company like Apple taking in foreign currencies, converting that back to dollars, that's going to hurt their earnings, right? A lot of these things, I'm sure that was new information to a lot of people. I'm sure people just learned something, right? That's what I feel like is missing in the AMC community. The longevity of it, the actual information that goes well beyond a specific day, specific trade, a specific hedge fund, or who's doing what. Those are the things that, in my opinion, are much more valuable than just hitting one trade like AMC. But nonetheless, that's what I'm going to continue to do. Some videos, I don't talk about AMC. Some videos are all about AMC. I like to have that variety here, and I think that is the single biggest reason why, in my personal opinion, Trey Trades is no longer talking about AMC. And I think, hate me for it or not, I think that's a positive thing. I think that's a positive thing when you look out years from now, if Trey continues to make videos and talk to his audience and actually teach them things that will better them, forever, right? If you learn this stuff, you will better your life forever. I think that's a positive thing. I don't necessarily agree he should never talk about AMC. I think there's a time and a place. There's a time when you should talk about AMC, when there's a potential opportunity there, but that's all his own decision. I think he's got a bigger conscience than a lot of other people that talk about AMC, and I think that's why a lot of people that talk about AMC only try to hype you up. They don't try to help you build a foundation, and that's why I very much respect Trey and always have really respect his decisions. And as you guys know, I'm not so fond of a lot of people in the AMC community. So, from my perspective, that's why Trey is no longer making YouTube videos. Really, in general, it's been like 2 weeks about specifically AMC. I hope he does come back. I hope he watched this video. Hope he comments on this video. If he does, make sure to show him a whole hell of a lot of support. Very much would appreciate that. But nonetheless, guys, if you're interested in building a foundation with the financial information you need to be successful as a long-term investor as well as a trader, then certain channels are for you. Certain channels are not going to help you with that. Hopefully, we are a place that helps you with both. Focus on the trading, but also focus on building a sustainable structure, a foundation to your portfolios. So that's going to be all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button if you feel like it. Subscribe to the channel if you feel like it. If not, no big deal. Leave your comments down below in the comment section. Nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.